I've got something for you today that'll be super useful if you live in a place like me that is prone to power outages. You spend a lot of time at the beach, you're into the camp life or the van life. This is a powered cooler from Vevor. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and yeah, I have reviewed a whole bunch of solar stuff here, like solar panels, solar generators, and things like that, things that would be useful in all those scenarios that I listed before. But one thing I hadn't experienced for myself and I've really wanted to review was a powered cooler, or as they might say, a car refrigerator. However you want to phrase it, it's a cooler that has power. So somehow I came across the Vevor website. Their slogan is tough tools, half price. It's kind of to me like a Harbor Freight, but of other stuff that you won't find at Harbor Freight. Maybe some of it will. Yeah, but they have tools and stuff like that. They have a lot of kitchen stuff though. And of course, I found these coolers on there. There were a lot of things that made me choose this one. However, the price was definitely a big factor in it, because when I'm looking at things like the Anker, which is the one I really like to have, it's $850. I mean, you know, not knowing if it'll actually work as I want it to and all that kind of stuff, I was like, I don't know. But then I saw this one, $269. And if you join, you get an extra little, I think it's a $5 discount or something like that. So, you know, you got to join the website. So from the website, $269.99. It's a Vevor 12 volt, 48 quart, dual zone, 12/24 volt DC and 110 240 volt AC electric compressor cooler. So this thing has a touch screen on it, and it also has an app to control it, which I find myself just using the app most of the time. And at 48 quart, you've got a lot of room in there. One side is deeper, the other side is not, because the compressor and everything has to be underneath that side. I would imagine that's the side you're going to most likely use as the freezer, because it's smaller and you can, you know, really freeze that section up. They say temps from 4 degrees to 68 degrees. They say it has rapid cooling, and I would agree with that. Gets to the temperature that you're asking it to get to within 15 minutes. That has been my experience. It's shake resistant, so if you're in your vehicle or whatever, and I did take it out onto the beach, you know, 4-wheel drive, so it was bouncing around back there, had no problems. I actually had it plugged into a solar generator at the time, the AllPowers. They also say low noise on the website. Well, I don't know. I mean, it has fans in it and it has a compressor in it, so you're going to hear it. And if there's not anything inside of there, the little baskets inside there, they rattle around a little bit. So once you get stuff in there, it's a lot quieter. It's not that big of a deal. It's actually probably not much louder than your actual refrigerator in your home. They also say on the website that there's battery protection. There is no battery in this, and there is a battery cavity for it. You can take off a little door and you look inside there, you can stick a battery in there, and they even show that on the website, like a battery going in there. But I can't figure out which battery goes for it, and on their website I don't see anything for that. There's no battery listed on there. In the manual it gives you some specs, so maybe there's something I can find out there. But even down in their questions, where people ask questions, somebody asks if this is battery operated. It says no, it doesn't have a battery, but obviously it doesn't, but I can't find one for it. But it has the little compartment for it. Comes with a wall plug and a car plug, so if you needed to use it with a solar generator or a regular generator or whatever, you're always going to be able to find a way to plug this thing in. They say it lasts up to 10 hours after unplugged. So if you had this thing at the full cooling temperatures that you wanted it at, and you had to unplug it, or you know, your power source ran out, either your generator or your solar generator or whatever, as long as you don't open it, it will stay cool for up to 10 hours. As soon as you open it though, you're letting out, as we say, the bought air, and it's going to start to warm up. Precise control with either the touch screen that's on there, it's got dual zones on there, it's really easy to navigate that, but you will want to read the manual because you have to do some dual button presses and things like that. Personally, because the app is really simple to use, I just use the app. Let's go ahead and do a lightning unboxing, show you what you get inside the box, how it's going to come to you, and then I'm going to show you what happened when I tried to use it with 2 separate solar panels. Come back and give you all the rest of my impressions and we'll wrap it up. All right, since it has a solar input on it, I figured, well, just plug the solar panel in it. I've seen more expensive ones, the ones that are $700 to $1,200. I believe that they must have some kind of a converter or a regulator inside the device so that when you plug your solar panel in, no problem. It just, regulates the power, because the solar panel is going to be sending out random, the power coming out of the panel is never exactly the same. It's going to be random. So you need something in between. So 2 different panels. All right. So we've got somebody doing some work over here on the bricks. So hopefully you can hear me properly, but I've got the AllPowers 100-watt panel set up, and it came with an adapter that gives me this plug right here. So what I'm going to do is just plug this right into that solar jack. And I just heard it beep. So there we go. And yeah, it's on and running. Let's see what the voltage is on it. Let's see. So when I plug it in, I do get the indication that it's plugged in. I hear the beeping. But when I'm looking at this, it is, well, the voltage is jumping up and down. So I don't know. Maybe I need to have something else in between them, but. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect that. With the Anker one that I was looking at, the Anker refrigerator, it basically, it sounded like you could just plug your panels right into it. But then again, Anker does do the solar panels and all that. So I'll do a little bit of looking into this and we'll see what the deal is. However, the solar generator that I got with this solar panel has pass-through, so I could plug it into that and then this into that. Seems a little bit complicated, but either way, I can still use the sun to run this. So what was happening there is the power that was coming into it was not regulated, so it was, it was varying and sometimes more than what the cooler could handle. So it was just beeping alerts at me. Luckily, it didn't damage the cooler, so I decided to try another one. Okay, so I decided to try something different. The previous time that I was doing this, I was using the AllPowers 100-watt panel, which is a great panel, okay? But I realized that the Rockpals one, I thought I remembered it had a little bit more of a controller inside of it. So we're going to try to plug this one in, okay? As you see, it has a standard connector on here. Let's go ahead and plug that in to the solar port. Unlike last time, we only got one beep indicating that it is connected. It's really bright out here, so it might be hard to see this, but let's turn that on. Yeah, so it looks like it's the same thing. I don't know, I guess you'd have to have a separate controller or something in order to run this directly from a solar panel. But I mean, it does have the solar connector on there. Now that one seemed like it was a little bit more stable, but it, in the end, did the same thing. So what you'd need to do is either find some kind of a regulation device that regulates the power going out from it, or you can use something like the AllPowers solar generator that I used, which will pop up on a link right here if you want to watch that, and put that in between, which is actually good because you don't want the cooler to be sitting directly in the sunlight anyways, and if it's got to be sitting right next to a solar panel, you see what I'm saying. So you could run the solar panel to the generator and then the generator to that, and that generator has pass-through, so it's going to be charging the generator while you're using the device, in this case the cooler. Again, this is my first of these coolers, so I don't really know. I might have to see if I can find a regulator that'll go in between, or I'll just use my power station, man. Which is what I did when I took this to the beach. On the Outer Banks of North Carolina, there's certain beaches that all season you can go out and drive on them. Of course, you have to get a beach permit, which is part of the Hatteras National Seashore. So it can be bouncy and all that stuff, but I just had the power station plugged into it, rolled right out there. And I will tell you that the power station was only, I didn't realize that it was so low when I plugged it in and took it out there, but I was already on my way out the door. It was only at 75%. I was able to get 3.5, 4 hours before that was depleted enough that I wanted to turn it off. The cooler worked perfectly fine out there. One side of it was I didn't have frozen stuff in there, but I put my beers over there so that they get nice and cold. That was down around 32 degrees, and on the refrigerator side, it was around 36 degrees. It worked perfectly. I mean, it was great. 3.5, 4 hours is about how much time I spend out there, so that was perfect. If I had that power station all the way charged up, it would have lasted even longer. The material of this is kind of dark, so one thing I did do is I draped a towel over that, and then over the power station, I just put a t-shirt over it, but there are ventilation on both things, so you want to make sure you don't cover any of the ventilation while you are covering it up. Is this the best powered cooler? No, it's definitely not, but for the price, I mean, it's hard to beat that. I think when I When I signed up, I got a discount. I got it for like $250 or something like that, which to me was pretty reasonable. So if you haven't checked out the Vevor or Vevor website, I don't really know how to pronounce it. You might want to do that. Tough tools, half price, man. That's the slogan. Like I said, it's a little bit like Harbor Freight. You're going to find good deals on there. And this is not a paid promotion at all. I just found the website and said, all right, let's check it out. They have a whole bunch of them on there, different sizes and everything. I wanted to get one that had wheels on it because I just want to pull it. This one's got that aluminum handle that slides out. You just hit two little tabs, it slides right out. And it's really easy and convenient to roll out to your car or wherever you got to take it. Roll it around the campground, no problem. For me, knowing that we will have power outages here on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, there's probably going to be a hurricane at one point in this year. And hey, when that happens, I'll take my steaks and the most important stuff from the refrigerator and freezer. I'm going to put them in there and I'll be good to go. While the solar on there's a little bit janky, I don't know if I'm using it correctly or not. What I'll do is I've got several of those solar generators / power stations around here. I'll just make sure those things are already charged up and not a problem, right? And then as one of them gets depleted, I'll take it back outside, plug it into a solar panel, charge it up. Yeah, I got all this figured out. So if you're interested in this stuff, I'm going to put a link down in the description directly to this. And from there, you can explore the website and see what else they've got on there. Not too shabby for a budget-priced entry into the electric cooler world. So there we go. If you like this type of stuff, I'll be having more solar generators or power stations, however you want to call it. And I'm going to explore whether I can find a battery for this one. And we'll see what else is out there for me. I don't know. I really would like to have that Anker one. It's like $850. We'll see. But I've also got more e-skate videos, electric scooters, bikes, and electric guitars, all that stuff coming up on the channel. So I really do appreciate your support. Channel's been around since 2013. In the last couple of years, I've really expanded to show a lot of my passions. I'm a very passionate guy when it comes to electronics. I'm just a bit of a geek, right? So if you've been around since 2013, awesome. I really appreciate your support. And if you're new to the channel, well, if you like what you see, you can hit that like button down there. There's also a subscribe button and a notification bell. If you click both of those, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. There is a thanks button down there if you want to thank the channel monetarily. It's not inexpensive to run these channels. Obviously, if you know, buying these things and cameras and lights and microphones and oh yeah, you could do it with that button, but the easiest way to support me is by liking this video and subscribing. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.